Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where we're going to be going over the stats of the Ano. So if you didn't know, I started a little series that I will be going over every stat for every dino in the game and make them into videos. We already did the Spino and we did the Meg yesterday, but now we're going to do one of the herbivores and we're going to do the Ano. So we're going to go over everything about the Ano and its stats as far as his health, his heal recovery rate, his attack damage, everything. And as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, hit that thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe, and let me know what dino you want me to cover next when it comes to his stats. So the Ano has 720 max health. That is about 20 more health than the Allosaurus, who's at 700. The Ano has a armor of 2.5. He is the only official dino that has more than one armor. Every other dino has one armor, while he's the only one with 2.5. He has 100 max stamina, which is the same for every official dino. He has 3,000 combat weight, which is the same combat weight as an Alioramus. His bleeding heal rate is at a 0.032, which is the same for every dino except the Kaiweki, who apparently heals faster from bleed attacks, with the 0.016. The Ano's venom heal rate is at a 0.016, which is the same for every official dino. His health recovery is at a 2, which actually means it's fairly fast. So if we had to compare it on a scale, the slowest health recovery would be the Spino at 0.83, while the fastest health recovery would be the Struthi at a 3.06. So you can see an Ano is at a 2, which means he's pretty much in between, so he still has a decent health recovery rate. For stamina drain, he is at a 0.8. Now the lower the number, the slower the drain, which means he has some long-lasting stamina. The Deinonychus also has a 0.8 stamina drain, which means he could run for long periods of time without losing that much stamina. Then we have the stamina recovery rate, which the Ano is at a 0.8. which is the third fastest stamina recovery out of all official dinos. The dinos with the top two fastest stamina recoveries is the Deinonychus and the Latin. For sprinting speed, he does have 600 sprinting speed, which makes him the second slowest dinosaur in the game. The only one that's slower than him is the Kaiweki, who has 100 sprinting speed on land. So I don't know if that really counts. It still makes the Ano the slowest out of everybody. But the Amargasaurus is right behind the Ano at 615 sprinting speed. So the Amargasaurus is a little bit faster than the Ano. For swim speed, he is at a 160, which is one of the slowest swimming speeds in the game, compared to like the Sarco, who's at a 450 swimming speed. Now we go to his attacks and we focus on the damage. So let's start with his regular tail swipe. It does 35 damage with at least 4-second bone break. Now the way damage works in this game, I explain it in every video, is it's based off combat weight. So the Ano was 3,000 combat weight. If he were to attack another dino with 3,000 combat weight, then his tail swipe would do exactly 35 damage. But if he attacks someone with more combat weight, then that 35 damage becomes less. So for example, if the Ano was to go against a T-Rex, you would basically get the T-Rex's combat weight, which is 6,500. You would divide it by the Ano's combat weight at 3,000, and you would get a 2.16. What you would do then is get the 35 damage from the tail swipe and divide it by the 2.16, and you would get 16 damage. Which means instead of doing 35 damage like you normally would against someone your own combat weight, you would be doing at least half that with 16 damage per hit against a T-Rex. When it comes to the tail slam, it does do 70 damage, which is still pretty high. So you'll do 70 damage to any dino that's around your combat weight. But let's say you go against the Bars. The Bars has the highest combat weight in the game at 7,000. So what you would do is the Bars combat weight divided by the Ano's combat weight at 3,000, you get a 2.33. Then you would take the 70 damage from the tail slam divided by the 2.33, and you would get 30 damage per hit. So when you fight the Bars, you'll do 30 damage with the tail slam instead of the 70. But if you were to take that same tail slam and let's say fight a Latin, then you would divide the Ano's combat weight at 3,000 divided by the Latin's combat weight of 1,100, and you would get a 2.72. That means you would do 2.72 times more damage to the Latin. So you would take the 70 damage from the tail slam and you will times it by 2.72 and you would get 190 damage. So if you were to land one of these tail slams on the Latin, you would do up to 190 damage compared to the Bars where you will only do 30 damage per hit. Hopefully I'm explaining it good to you guys so you guys are understanding how combat weight really works. And then we have the Bone Snap attack, which only does 20 damage but can do up to 30-second bone break. It's a charged up tail attack, but the damage is not that high, so it only does 20 damage. So if you're fighting something the same size as you, you're going to do 20 damage. If you fight something bigger than you, you're probably going to do half that, maybe 10 damage. And if you fight something smaller than you, then that 20 damage could become possibly 40 or 50 damage per hit. But that is basically all of the stats for the Ano. Now, if this video helped you out in any sort of way, hit that thumbs up. Hopefully it was informational enough. Hopefully I explained it good. And if you want me to explain things a certain way for the future videos, I'm always open to criticism and feedback and just your overall thoughts on these type of videos. I always want to make sure you guys understand exactly what I'm explaining so, it's not confusing afterwards. But thank you guys for watching, and let me know what dino you want me to do next as far as its stats.